All right, I think we're live.
Yeah, we're live.
Hi,
Hello.
everybody. Sorry. Hi, everybody. My name is Carla Luna. I went to the University of Illinois at Chicago, so UIC, and I majored in Latino studies.
Hi, my name is Gina Browning. I attended Eastern Illinois University. I got my bachelor's in human services, program administration, and today we are going to talk about going to college and taking care of yourself. Like, what does that look like? And just giving you some tips on how to go about that.
Yeah. For me, I struggled a lot with self-care. Like it took a
Hmm.
lot for me to just kind of like train myself to remember to take care of myself mentally and physically. I'm not the type to work out, so everybody would always be like, "Oh, like go to the gym and you'll feel better." That was not for me. So I started doing yoga, so that's my number one tip for now, but I don't know. You go
I
ahead and share
think
some details.
I think that mine was I was the workout person.
Yeah.
Like I'm ready. I'm ready to run. Like I'm mad today. I need to run. I just take care of myself. I need this day to myself where I can you know, just run and
Yeah.
then, just take care of myself and focus on me because you have all this. You have work if especially if you're like a part-time, you working part-time and then you're also in school. So being a full-time student, like that could be a lot on you. So it's just always good to make sure that you're doing something that helps you and also getting involved in things. So stay engaged. Join a club. Carla, you said you did yoga.
Yeah.
Like maybe I know they have like different. Some campuses may have different gym classes or other things where you can get involved in. That way you don't have to, just break away from the regular routine a little bit.
Yeah.
And
I think that's pretty important. Like just finding what works for you. Like even if it's just going on a walk outside, like you're gonna be in a classroom all day. Like you can't make that your number one priority. Like just school and home. I mean, for me being a
mhm.
commuter, like I felt like I didn't have this like boundary where it's like when do I stop doing that and do something for me. So I feel like taking
Mm,
advantage of the free gym on campus, like
yeah.
taking advantage of the free counseling that they offer, and even if they don't have a good ratio of like counselors to students, then like taking advantage of the healthcare that they give you, like the insurance, and finding a therapist. Like I feel like that's really important too. Like just taking care of your mental health and being able to talk to somebody and feel like you have a safe space outside of just being in school and working or whatever it is that you're doing that's being routine in life.
And you mentioned how like you wanted to have like that you commute
Yeah.
and just like trying to find that time. So I would say like time management, like learning a balance. Maybe learning that balance between work and school,
Mhm.
and then also you can feel a little bit overwhelmed, and you could be also like when it comes to like different things, you may have other commitments outside of your job, outside of school. So understand that like you understand and be aware that you can say no.
Mhm.
You can say no.
Yes.
The word no is not in my vocabulary sometimes, because I'm just always like, let me do this, let me do that. But
Yeah.
I had to sit myself down and say, no, I
Mhm.
cannot do that today. I had to manage my time well. And because if I'm not taking care of myself, who will?
No,
Like, who
literally,
will? Like,
literally.
how are the things that I want to do going to get done if I'm not taking care of myself?
Yeah. I think that's important too. Like even knowing when like you need a break from classes. Like it is not a bad thing to take a mental health day. And I learned that my sophomore year, I had a professor that literally gave us 3 mental health days. She's like, use them to your discretion. Like this will not count against
Yeah,
you. And I thought that was awesome because you don't get that. Like you barely get sick days like physically with some
for
professors.
real.
Like they're like, no,
For
you're
for
coming in.
real.
But they're not in charge of you. Like you're in charge of
Hmm.
yourself and you're in charge of your future. So if you feel like you need a break, then take that break.
Yeah, and reach out. Use
Yes.
those campus resources. Like let your instructors know like what you said. Like
Yeah.
let them know like what's going on, because you're there. You have to do this work. You have to sit in the class. You have to do all of the things that you need to do so that you can get to graduation. So it's important that maybe you want to talk to family members or instructors or even organizations that you are involved in. I know that I was a part of a choir, so like that came like my community where I would talk to them, or we would go out, and we'll go out to eat, or we'll go to like a singing engagement. Like that was my way of just being also doing something that I love, but also just getting out of all the other things, all of the work, the school, just everything, and just being around people that's going through the same things as you, but we also like the same things. And just knowing that you have a home, like a family away from home, is always nice.
Yeah, a safe space. Like I feel like for me, it took me a long time to like get rid of my ego and ask for help. Like I'm a daughter of immigrants, so I always felt like I knew what I was doing. I have to do it. Like no one else is lost, but everyone is just as lost. Everyone else needs help. Like college is stressful, but it's also a really good time too if you find your safe space. Like if you find what works for you, then that's all. Like that's all that should matter. Like you should have your group of friends or your family that you feel safe with, and just safe enough to take breaks too. Like I don't know how else to say it. Like it's just like you need to ask for help if you need it, and that's your priority.
Yeah, I would say don't be afraid to use your resources and ask for help. Even if it's like a friend, like, hey, I need help with this assignment. I know you took this class before. Can you please like tell me, give me some tips, maybe, like something. So that's why I think that practice good study habits, write down the things that, in a planner, maybe I know I had a checklist. So on my laptop, it was like a sticky note every week. Like every week, I was taking a sticky note off, like because that means that everything was crossed off.
Yeah,
I'm like, ball this up. I finished everything. Like I was like, I felt so accomplished because I just felt like just creating that. I created like a study habit in a way. I set a certain time out so that I could do my work, so that I could, study for tests, do projects, do papers, utilize the writing centers. So just, doing things like that can really help, because I just wrote down everything.
Yeah.
And I use it like a checklist.
Me too.
Crossed it off like, okay, this assignment is done. This quiz is done.
Yes.
Like, we gotta get this done, because who else?
No, literally, that's how I was in my agenda. Like I would like cross things off, and it was like the most relieving feeling ever. Like I would cross it off enough to not be able to see it anymore.
Right.
Like, if I had to go back to see what I did, like I could not, because it was just all crossed out. And that's another thing though, because I used to try to have like an online agenda, and it would not work for me, because it was always there, so it was following me. Like I'd be like, what do I have to do? And then I'd have like this long to-do list on my phone, and I'd be like, dang, like that's too much stuff. So I started doing like small goals on like a paper agenda, which worked better for me, because I could have the whole calendar laid out, but then also like don't bombard yourself with like 15 things on a to-do list. Like break it down in what seems doable for you.
And then sleep. Get some sleep. Like sleep is so important. Because how are you gonna be able to do anything if you're not 100% yourself, and if you're not like fully there? So I think getting some sleep and finding those relaxing activities. I know I have a coloring book. Yes, I own a coloring book. Absolutely. I own a coloring book, because it's just a way for me to just relax. I sit down and I color my book, listen to some music, maybe like, turn on my favorite TV show or something. Or I'll just be like, hey friends, like, what are y'all doing today? Maybe we can have like a movie night, where we can just watch our favorite movies and eat as many snacks as we can, because this is what we need today, especially around finals time. Dealing with finals, like self-care is extremely important around that finals time, because you can tend to like stay up late trying to study. Maybe you wanted to go over some, certain types of assignments, and you just like, I don't know how this is gonna go. So just making sure that you really, especially around the finals time. I know that some campuses, they may have different things for for the students on
Finals.
campus, especially during finals. Because I know my school, we would have like an ice cream social, like throughout the week, just something to just get you relaxed a little bit, and because you can feel the energy on campus when it's time for like I don't know if it's
silent.
everybody is
you're
silent,
walking
like,
down the campus
yes.
and you're like, oh my god, like this is intense.
Exactly, like, hey, how you doing? It could be really intense around that time. So more specifically, just really lock in and find the things that you feel comfortable with that makes you relax.
I think for me during finals, it was always really funny because like my friends would be like, I didn't go to sleep till 5 a.m. And I'm like, I went to sleep at 10 p.m.
Right.
I got my rest. I ate because if I don't eat, then I'm cranky and I don't remember anything. And honestly, like, you know what you know. Like, you are intelligent. You're going to feel like, is it worth it, or do I know what I'm doing? Yes, because you're there, you made it, and you're gonna feel something called imposter syndrome, and that is okay. We all feel it, but you're there because you got there yourself.
Yes.
So eat, sleep, prioritize yourself, because everything else will just be waiting for you. Like, it's okay if you don't get an A on that test. You can get a B, you can get a C, but you tried your best, and that's the priority.
Yeah, and just understand that like you belong there. You've put in that work, you've put in that time, and I've had to have those conversations with myself as well. Like, no, Gina, you belong here. Like, you've worked, you've gotten yourself here, you've made it this far. Let's go. Like, you can do this. And sometimes you just gotta encourage yourself and find like that motivation to keep going, which is why self-care is important. Take care of your mental health, because you're gonna need that. You're gonna need your mental a lot.
And don't leave it like locked in there. Like for me, it was like my first year. I was like, man, I'm so stressed, but I'm gonna get through this. Like, I just be fighting it. But no, like, it's okay to cry a little bit. Like, you're like an hour away from a deadline and you're crying about this essay, but then after you're like, yeah, I did that. Like, yes. So,
nobody knows that you were just crying 2 minutes ago, but it's okay because you can do it. Understand that you can do it, and just make sure that you know. I can't stress this enough, to take care of yourself, and then also set realistic goals. Sometimes you can set some goals and then you don't end up doing it, and then you may beat yourself up about it. Don't. Just make sure that you set realistic goals and stay motivated to achieve those deadlines.
Yeah. And avoid procrastination. Like, don't wait till the very last minute, because it's going to have to get done regardless. So get it done in pieces, or get it done slowly, so that you don't feel overwhelmed, because then that overwhelming feeling just takes over everything. Like, you forget to eat, you forget to sleep, or you can't because you have 2 hours to finish an essay and you haven't slept in like a week. And you're like, oh, like, I should have done this earlier.
Yeah, I was a huge procrastinator. And if there was a prize, I would get it, because that was me. Like, I would procrastinate, and then because procrastination causes a lot of stress, because you've already like, okay, I waited this late. I waited I waited at least like, okay, so it'll be. So it'll be like, I have a paper, like, I know that this paper is due, because first of all, you get the syllabi from your professors. So you have all those deadlines. And I was just like, oh, I'll get there. It's not due to the end of the semester. Oh boy, the end of the semester came. There I was. I was right there the day before, trying to take that paper, 11:59, like, go, Gina, go, and I just think, and it didn't make me feel good. It made me want to cry. It made me feel like maybe I have to do something different. Which is why I, created that list, and I started to change my habits, my study habits, because I feel like your study habits and that procrastination kind of go together, because you tend to, put a lot of stuff off, especially, that's why you got to find that balance, that work, and then that school, social life. Yeah, social life. Find that balance too, because you can't have. I always used to tell my brother, when he went to college, I said, now balance
Yes.
balance that.
No.
If you're gonna play hard, you better work just as hard.
Yep.
If you're gonna play hard, work hard.
Yes.
And that's what I had to learn myself.
Yeah.
Because if you're gonna do this and you're gonna chill, then you're gonna have to put as much time in the chilling as what you're doing in the work too.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Just put a lot of time in your work and make sure that you get things done.
Yeah. Learn what works for you. Like my first year, I'm not a procrastinator, so I could not relate to you.
Hey, that's good.
I love doing everything in like little pieces, right? So my first year, I would put all of the syllabus on my agenda. So like the deadlines and stuff. But I would like lie to myself and say that something was due like 2 days before it was actually due.
That's good.
But that didn't work for me because then it'd be like 2 days before it's actually due, and I'm like procrastinating a little bit towards the end, and I'm like, oh my God, like I need to turn this in, and then it'd be like, wait, when is it actually due? And I would forget the time that it was due, and I would forget like the actual date. So there I go back downloading the syllabus again to like look at it. So that didn't work for me. So I just started, being honest with myself. Like, it's actually due on Wednesday. Just don't forget that. And I would still do the little pieces part. But senior year, that senioritis was crazy. Because that's when I started procrastinating. And that did not go well with my anxiety. Like, it was like it tormented me like terribly.
Right. And then COVID too.
Yes.
COVID didn't help either, know. So that was another thing that could make you want to procrastinate too, because you already in the house.
Yeah.
So I would just say, just making sure that just to really avoid it, based off our stories, and keep the end in mind. Remember why you're there, and that's what my family always reminded me. Like, remember why you're there. Regardless of all the things that you involved in on campus, and you're doing all of this stuff, and you have stress, just remember why you're there. Keep the end in mind. Know that there are parts of college that will be stressful and will be difficult, but think about graduation and think about the goals that you set for yourself, and see yourself with that cap and gown on and ready to go, and ready for ready to change the world. And that's kind of like the mind that I what I had in my mind to push me through. And just always remember to keep the end in mind. Write those goals down. Maybe do some affirmations. Maybe write down affirmations. I know a few of my friends, they will pull out their like little cards. I know they have like affirmation cards, and they'll pull them out, and they'll say,
into that.
You are? Okay. So they pull them out and they read them. So just focus on some things that will be more positive. Surround yourself with positive people. Even though life may not be like that all the time, but surround yourself with positive people who have the same goals in mind, and also, and then keep the end in mind for sure.
And be proud of yourself, because you would not be there if you didn't belong there. And love yourself enough to listen to what you need in that moment. If you need to rest physically, then do it. If you need to rest mentally, do it. Because honestly, like, if you're not good physically, you're not good mentally. And if you're not good mentally, you're not good physically. So just remember to take care of yourself. Listen to what works for you. If your friend is a procrastinator and you're not, or vice versa, like, it doesn't matter what everyone else is doing. Like, you do you, and you listen to you, and you ask for help. Like, that, I cannot emphasize that enough. Like, do not be afraid to ask for help, because honestly, everyone needs just as much help.
Yes.
They might just not say it.
Yeah. And ask questions.
Yes.
It's okay. You may not know a lot of things. So just be sure to, take care of yourself, and make sure you put yourself first. Because there's already going to be a lot of things that you're going to have to prioritize. So be sure to, take care of yourself and make sure that you are there mentally, and work out, exercise,
do some yoga, meditation, whatever works for you.
Whatever works for you. Whether it's just you want to take a walk around campus, or just read a book outside. I know I like to read, so I would read a book outside, sit by the water, because we had like a pond, sit by the water and just read. be by myself
Yeah.
and
Or jump up and down 10
Yeah.
times. Like, just get the heart beating. Like,
Yes.
get it moving.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So just make sure that you you go to college, that you take care of yourself, and you do what's best for you.
And just remember to always ask for help and always listen to you. Be proud of yourself because you are doing amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
All right.
understand that you can do it.
Yeah. All right. Well, this was fun.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you for taking the time to listen on. And if you all ever need anything, then obviously we're part of the First Generation Network. So
Yes.
always feel free to reach out.
Absolutely.
All right.